I would be remiss in beginning without saying what a privilege it is to work with Martha in planning for today, and I'm just really grateful for her spirit and her words, and thank you for it. This is a peculiar and unique celebration here this morning, and it may be the only place anywhere that it happens. And perhaps you know that there are those who find it unthinkable that Christian and Wiccan would come together in shared celebration of the solstice and of Christmas. We were noting, by the way, that we do have some other hymns in our hymnal that speak to, at least to Wiccan concerns, if not to the Yule. They just don't happen yet to be recorded so that we have accompaniment for them. But that may yet happen. So as we become open to other spiritual paths, we find many common themes in the Christmas season. Christmas celebration becomes a melding of paganism, Mithraism, which is common to both traditions, Judaism and Christianity, and their respective customs, in a sense, become one, although this is not to suggest that they're lost in their uniqueness. Because Wiccan and Christian stories are intertwined, starting with the assumed birthday of Jesus. That's a connection out of the Mithra tradition. Those of us who are followers of Jesus celebrate his birth as a sign of hope in the oppressed world into which Jesus was born. We celebrate his coming as light into a world, even into the darkness of our world. Many of those who would not claim to be his followers find nonetheless excitement in the festivities of Christmas and enjoy hearing again the poetic traditions about his birth. We still need new light and hope in our day, as extremists cast all Muslims into a bad light. As a result, fear grips many of us and shapes beyond imagination, shapes our political discourse. Islam, like Christianity and Judaism, traces its roots back to the ancient patriarch Abraham. And Muslims all over the world live in harmony with their neighbors of other faiths. As in too many other situations, it is a tiny minority bringing shame on our neighbors of Islamic faith. There are those who cite passages from the Quran as evidence of Muslim intentions. And in fact, there are in the Quran some statements that one would regret. But people who cite those passages have never read the book of Leviticus out of Jewish and Christian tradition. And in that book are things that would repel any one of us. We can be proud of our UU brothers and sisters who speak out, who have spoken out, honoring our friends and neighbors of Islamic faith. Over the past nearly 18 years of this church, we have honored the connection between pagan and Christian traditions in celebration of the winter solstice and the birth of Jesus. This connection has been enriched for me and broadened as I listened to public radio while on the road. A man of Jewish faith was being interviewed about Hanukkah. He was asked what the Jewish celebration of Hanukkah meant to him. He replied that while Hanukkah is not a major Jewish festival, as Christmas is for Christians, for him it was a remembrance of the struggle of the ancient Maccabees and how in their darkness the light miraculously burned in spite of the shortage of lamp oil. He said that for him, as a modern Jew, the lighting of the menorah with the additional candle each day for 8 days is a reminder that he should be working for more hope and light in the world, especially into the dark places of our world. I welcome that message, as do the words of hope that have come to other people in times of great distress. It has been a great liberation to me as a Christian to have my perspective on this happy season opened and broadened into a way that frees me to celebrate the hope and the light which we all share. A celebration which I can share with many others when I reach beyond the myopia of sectarian doctrine. It is no accident that our Christian forebears, lacking any precise idea of when or where Jesus was born, chose to celebrate his birth right after the longest night of the year. How fitting to honor the birth of one who is referred to as the light of the world at a time when days in the northern hemisphere become longer and brighter and warmer. It points toward the rebirth of life in the coming of springtime. A cartoonist picks up on the darkness with an insightful piece of a few decades ago. This comic strip was found on my mother-in-law's night table soon after her death. It was the comic strip Hagar. The Star of Bethlehem is viewed in a profound way here. Hagar's son was standing outdoors under the night sky with his dad when he asked, "Why did God make the darkness, Dad?" And his father replied, "I don't know. Maybe so we could see the stars better." Even in the darkness, light shines and the heavens sparkle. Whether Jesus was born in the dark of night or in the bright light of day, it is quite possible that only the neighbor knew when Joseph and Mary became parents for the first time. But his followers looked back on that birth, and it had to have been a fantastic happening. When what Jesus did with his short life was like a burst of bright light on a dark night. Each of the birth stories, and they are not the same, and they are even contradictory of one another. They offer their own unique way of saying, of speaking to the issue of light. As Luke pictures a bright light upon the hillside pasture where the shepherds tended their sheep. And Matthew, in contrast, sees a bright star leading the royal visitors from a distant land. In either story, he becomes as light as the storytellers imagined him. This infant Jesus grew to violate everything that was expected of a real Messiah. He was supposed to have royal ambitions, to display military skill, and to wield great political power. And he was none of these things. Instead, he came with a surprise, teaching and living the great power of self-giving love. It was a whole new way of life for many. And still we don't know what to do with that new way of life. But others have known. It shaped the way Mahatma Gandhi led India to independence, though Mahatma Gandhi was not a Christian. It was at the heart of the civil rights struggle of our own nation, as it was shaped by Martin Luther King Jr. It was light coming into darkness. And just as these two embodied self-giving love that Jesus lived and taught, so we too are the means by which that love and light and hope becomes real in the world today. So light and hope and peace seek a rebirth in today's world. Let it begin with us. So we gather to sing carols. Some of us will celebrate again the birth of Jesus. Some have already celebrated the miracle of the light in Hanukkah. Others will celebrate the solstice with its return to lengthening sunlit days. Together, we will all celebrate hope and light for new and better and brighter days ahead. And as we wait for that brighter day, we'll see our darkness brightened by the stars that shine all the more brightly. I invite you to turn in the hymnals to number 245, Joy to the World. We'll stand in body of spirit and